So hope you are all able to hear me. Are you able to hear me? Okay. See, what you have to remember is uh, the secondary growth in dicot stem. Uh, Here you are able to notice that they have a bark. Outermost part of it is, we call it as bark. Then there is the cork cambium, secondary cortex. Then we find wood. In the wood, you can notice the early wood or spring wood, we call it as, and late wood or the autumn wood. Okay, so both are there. So the early wood, late wood. So together we call them as annual ring. So early wood is also called as spring wood. The late wood is also called as autumn wood. Together we call them as annual rings. So by counting the number of annual rings, we can determine the age of trees. So the branch of biology which deals with the study of determining the age of trees by counting the number of annual rings, we call that as dendrochronology. The study of wood is called as dendrology. And even in this wood, you can see there is a heartwood. At the center of it, it would be darker in color, which we call it as heartwood. The periphery, it would be lighter in color, which we call it as sapwood. Heartwood is also called as duramen. The sapwood, which is softer in nature, lighter in color, we call it as alburnum. Sapwood, heartwood. So that is also you can differentiate. So later, after the completion of the secondary growth, again I'll be discussing about this concepts of annual ring, then the heartwood, sapwood. I'll be discussing it again. Okay, so let us proceed with this uh, secondary growth in dicot stem. So before going into it, you should remember the young dicot stem anatomy of it. So they had vascular bundles arranged in a ring-like manner. The vascular bundle is conjoined, and the vascular bundle is also, you notice that they are open type, wherein it has cambium. So cambium within the vascular bundle, we call it as intravascular cambium. Then there were medullary rays in between the vascular bundles. So this structure, you should keep it in your mind and then proceed with the study of this secondary growth in dicot stem. So what is primary growth and secondary growth? See, primary growth is increase in the length of the plant, a longitudinal increase in the length of the plant. Already you know that when I discussed about the plant tissues, I told you that apical meristem and intercalary meristem are responsible for the increase in primary growth of the plant, increase in the length of the plant. The lateral meristem is responsible for increase in the girth of the plant. So the lateral meristem included vascular cambium, cork cambium, interfascicular cambium. So we had discussed about that. So the growth of the roots and stem in length with the help of apical meristem, and also you should include intercalary meristem. With the help of apical meristem and intercalary meristem is called as primary growth. Secondary growth is increase in the girth of dicot plants. Secondary growth is increase in the girth of dicot plants or diameter of the dicot plants. So the tissues involved in secondary growth are two lateral meristems are involved in secondary growth. One is vascular cambium, which is found within the stele. Another is cork cambium, which is found in the cortical region. So they are cork cambium is found in the cortex. Okay, so vascular cambium is found within the stele. So two types of tissues are involved in secondary growth. So those two types of tissues are the lateral meristems. That is, first type is vascular cambium, which is within the stele. So within the stele, you find this vascular cambium formed, and in the cortex, you find the cork cambium is formed in the cortex. So remember about the two type of lateral meristems which are involved in secondary growth. One is vascular cambium, another is cork cambium. So cork cambium is also called as phellogen. Another name for cork cambium is phellogen. vascular cambium, you can also call it as fascicular cambium. Okay, so vascular cambium. So it is the meristematic layer responsible for cutting off vascular tissues, that is xylem and phloem. So it is the meristematic layer responsible for cutting off the vascular tissues, that is xylem and phloem. So in the young stem, it is present in patches as a single layer between xylem and phloem. That is, we are talking about intrafascicular cambium. They are present as patches in the young stem. Later, it forms a complete ring. See in the first diagram. So there is ring-like arrangement of vascular bundles. This is an young stem, and you can find within this vascular bundle the intrafascicular cambium. So they are as present in patches in between the xylem and phloem. Now the medullary rays, which are found in between the vascular bundles, they differentiate. They are going to differentiate, rather we use the term, they are going to de-differentiate to form interfascicular cambium. So already there was intrafascicular cambium. The some of the parenchyma cells in between the vascular bundles, throughout this vascular bundles, in between the vascular bundles, some of the parenchyma cells in the medullary rays, they de-differentiate. That is, from permanent tissue they become meristematic tissue. They de-differentiate to form interfascicular cambium. So there is everywhere you can notice inter, intra, inter. So throughout you find intrafascicular cambium along with interfascicular cambium. They are going to form this complete ring is formed. Once the interfascicular cambium is also formed, they form a complete ring. So this complete ring of cambium, we call it as vascular cambium. So vascular cambium is formed by the connection of the interfascicular cambium with intrafascicular cambium. So a complete ring is formed. This we call it as the vascular cambium. Okay. So now they are ready for the secondary growth within the stele. So that is taking place by vascular cambium. So remember that some of the parenchyma cells in between the medullary rays, they are going to de-differentiate. Some of the parenchyma cells in between the medullary rays, they are going to de-differentiate to form interfascicular cambium. So they are going to form a complete ring. So intrafascicular cambium and interfascicular cambium, intrafascicular cambium and interfascicular cambium. So throughout the ring it happens, and they are going to form a continuous cambial ring, which we call it as vascular cambium. Okay, so remember this interfascicular cambium, which is newly formed cambium by the de-differentiation of parenchyma cells of medullary rays. So formation of the cambial ring. In dicot stems, cells of cambium present between primary xylem and primary phloem, it is called as intrafascicular cambium. Okay, why do we use it as primary xylem and primary phloem? See, the xylem and phloem before secondary growth, we call them as primary xylem and primary phloem, or just xylem and phloem we can use. But after secondary growth, we use the term secondary xylem and secondary phloem. The newly formed xylem after secondary growth, we call it as secondary xylem and secondary phloem. So the cambium present in between the primary xylem and primary phloem in the vascular bundle is intrafascicular cambium. Now you can understand why I was highlighting this word of intrafascicular cambium. Within the vascular bundle, the cambium that is present, we call it as intrafascicular cambium. So the cells of medullary rays adjoining, that is besides the vascular bundles or in between the vascular bundles, the cells of the medullary rays, they are going to become meristematic. That is, permanent tissue becomes meristematic. We use the term de-differentiates to form meristematic tissue, and they are going to form interfascicular cambium. So they are going to form interfascicular cambium. So in the medullary ray cells, which are in between this vascular bundles. So they are going to form the meristematic tissue, and we call it as interfascicular cambium. Thus, intra and interfascicular cambium throughout, they connect to form a continuous ring called as cambial ring. So secondary growth, for our convenience, we can consider it in two step. Okay, one is stellar secondary growth, which is taking place within the stele. Then extrastellar secondary growth, which is taking place outside the stele. So the stellar secondary growth includes formation of vascular cambium is the first step. After the formation of vascular cambium, there is a formation of secondary xylem and secondary phloem. Okay, there is a formation of secondary xylem and secondary phloem. So you can see that after this formation of the vascular cambium, so they are going to develop secondary xylem is formed, and secondary phloem, the pink colored ones are the secondary phloem is formed. So the secondary xylem, what it does is it pushes the primary xylem towards the pith. So the bluish colored one they have given here, that is the secondary xylem. So just above the xylem, so the cambium towards the pith, they produce secondary xylem. Towards the periphery, they produce the secondary phloem. So the secondary xylem that is formed pushes the primary xylem towards the pith, and it pushes the primary phloem towards the cortical region. The newly formed secondary phloem pushes the primary phloem towards the cortical region. So this you can notice during the secondary growth, there is expansion. Okay. So finally, uh, so let us activity of the cambial ring. Vascular cambium, what does it do? See, the cambial ring, it becomes active and cuts off new cells both towards the inner side and outer side. So they are going to form new cells both towards inner side, that is towards the pith, and outer side. The cell cut off towards pith, they are going to mature into secondary xylem. The cells cut off towards the periphery, they are going to form the secondary phloem. So the cells cut off from the vascular cambium, the cells cut off towards the pith, they are going to form the secondary xylem. Secondary xylem pushes the primary xylem. The cells that is cut off outside, they are going to form the secondary phloem, and the secondary phloem pushes the primary phloem. Okay, so cambium is more active on the inner side, that is, they produce more of secondary xylem than secondary phloem. So cambium is more active on the inner side than on the outer side. As a result of it, you find that more secondary xylem is produced than secondary phloem, and soon it forms a compact mass. So the cambium is more active on the inner side than on the uh, outer side. As a result, more secondary xylem is formed than the secondary phloem, and it soon forms a compact mass. So this diagram shows the first secondary growth. Okay, the fourth diagram. So you have to draw all this diagram and explain in case they have asked you stellar secondary growth. So what is happening within this vascular cambium, you have to explain. So these three diagrams are required for stellar secondary growth. This is extrastellar secondary growth. You require this diagram. That is a formation of cork cambium and others. So now you have understood what is the activity of vascular cambium. Now, primary and secondary phloems get gradually crushed due to the continued formation and accumulation of secondary xylem. However, primary xylem remains intact in or around the center. Okay, so at some places, cambium forms a narrow band of parenchyma which passes through the secondary xylem and the secondary phloem. Can you see these lines? Narrow bands of parenchyma which passes through the secondary xylem and secondary phloem. So those we call it as secondary medullary rays. See, the medulla was parenchymatous. Now it has got reduced. So at some places you can find the narrow band of parenchyma which passes through the secondary xylem and the secondary phloem in the radial directions. It is almost like radius, isn't it? In the radial direction. So we call this as secondary medullary rays. So there is also formation of, apart from secondary phloem, secondary xylem, there is also formation of secondary medullary rays. So you can notice that there is a formation of secondary medullary rays. Okay. So the vascular cambium, now springwood and autumnwood. See, many physiological and environmental factors, they control the activity of cambium. Physiological means hormone secretions can be there or metabolic activity. Environmental factors are temperature, light availability, water availability, carbon dioxide. These are all environmental factors. So many physiological and environmental factors, they are going to control the activity of vascular cambium. In spring season, the vascular cambium is very active and it produces many xylary elements having vessels with wider cavities. This wood is called as spring wood or early wood. Why is it that in spring season they are very active? Because that is the season when they produce leaves. New leaves are in many of the plants. You find leaves are formed, fruits, flowers are formed. So spring season itself is a season of fertility or activity. So the availability is more. So photosynthesis is more. So the that is the reason in spring season vascular cambium, that is the environmental factors which has an physiological impact. Okay, in spring season, the cambium, vascular cambium is very active and they produce many xylary elements having vessels with larger diameter or lumen, we call it as, with wider cavities. This type of wood we call it as spring wood or early wood. Spring wood is lighter in color and has a lower density. So you can see this lighter in color and lower density. We call that as spring wood. In autumn mode, in winter, cambium is less active because most of the plants, they would have shed their leaves. Okay, so the deciduous plants, the evergreen plants, they are always green, but even in evergreen plants, they are not so much active in winter season. In winter, cambium is less active and it forms few xylary elements having narrow vessels. So this autumn wood, you can see they would be darker and higher density and they are having narrow vessels. This wood is called as autumn wood or late wood. It is darker and has higher density. The spring wood is lighter and has lower density. So these two kinds of wood that appear as alternate concentric ring. So you notice that there is a spring wood and there is an autumn wood. So they are in concentric circles. They appear as alternate concentric rings. So we call this as annual ring. These two kinds of wood that appear as alternate concentric rings. That is the spring wood and autumn wood. Together we call it as annual ring. So annual rings are used to estimate the age of tree. So this branch of biology which deals with determining the age of trees by counting the number of annual rings, we call it as dendrochronology. Okay, so the hardwood and sapwood we'll discuss in the next class. As of now, you remember about springwood and autumn wood. Okay, and we have just discussed the formation of vascular cambium. So we'll be discussing in the next class the cork cambium and what is its role. So the extrastellar secondary growth we have not yet discussed. That will be discussing in the next class. Okay, so if you have any doubts or clarifications, just let me know.